Shamima.
Unajua mimi nilimwambia aende lete cable akasema kuna cable.
Nimemute sauti.
Shamim.
Weka tu alafu utaongeza chini.
Ndio. Hizo vitu kuna watu bado wanatumia.
Ndako wale chief wange ndio yabuduka.
Ndio boy asimwezi hiyo.
Chief aduchi mlo. Hebu confirm kama tuko sawa.
Nikuwekee
share the link
Backstopping.
Testing sound.
Waiting for sound. Ready when you are.
Why?
Okay, cottages. Okay, cottages from 9 a.m. And today on set we have a few familiar faces and some younger. We also have Chief Officer, Department of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, Dr. Betty Mulianga. We have the Chief Officer, Public Service Management and ICT, Philip Gavuna. Director ICT, Victor Benefit Nyawanga. Director Revenue, George Omusula. On my other side, I have Caleb Kitui here. But from the County Government of Vihiga, we have the Director, Physical Planning and Urban Development, Peter Orimba. We have the Chief Officer from the Department of Gender, Sports, Youth and Culture, Sylvester Zkane. We have our Chief of Staff, Leonard Soita. We also have the County Executive Committee member from the Department of Gender, Dr. Ruth Agesa. And as we begin, I will start with Waziri Onzeo. The midterm review report is housed in the Department of Finance. What's the midterm review? What does this mean? And why has it been important for the County Government of Vihiga to have this done?
Yes, the County Government of Vihiga, headed by His Excellency Governor Tichilo, when they sought to get to the government to lead it, they had a plan, first a manifesto that the governor presented to the people, and then there is a process of getting into plans that the government intends to implement. That is called a County Integrated Development Plan. It's a requirement for every county to have County Integrated Development Plan. So this is the document that was generated through public participation of the people of Vihiga, and this is from 2022, just after the elections, that is the baseline period. And so these are plans that were put in place from 2022 after elections all the way to 2027 when the government exits and another government comes. So those plans were per sector. Every department out of the 10 departments had their plans. And at this point in time, the government has to evaluate what has been implemented, the achievements, and what is outstanding that is required to be implemented in the remainder of the period of the government. So that is what is going to happen tomorrow. The governor is going to present to the people of Vihiga what he promised them, what he has done, and what is remaining to be completed in the period of the 1 year that is remaining. So that in a nutshell is what the mid-term review. This is just an evaluation of a self-evaluation of the government on what it has been able to achieve so far. Thank you.
Waziri, you've mentioned a midterm review is for a period for the 5 years. Now, it would be assumed that for the 5 years that this CIDP covers, the midterm review would happen at year 3. What has led to it happening at the end of year 4? And what do you foresee with the 1 year that we now have left? What do you foresee? Do you foresee us achieving the rest of the development plans, or since you sit on this, what have you seen?
Yes, that's a good question, Shamim. I think in the entire country, out of the 47 counties, county government of Vihiga is the first to present a medium-term report to the people. Countrywide, we are the first one coming up tomorrow. So, in this case, you can see it is a process that overlaps into, it's not just at the middle of the government performance, but it overlaps into just before you end your tenure, you are expected to report what you have done. So you are ahead of all other counties, including the national government. Thank you.
Waziri, this is Caleb, West TV. The question is, at what stage or what percentage, if you had 5 years, it's 4 years, at what stage are we at 40%, 60%, 90%, or what percentage, and what sectors are performing better and what sectors are performing badly, and why?
Generally, we are at 80%. 80%, and that would, if you populate that, you would discover that at the first, during the first year, we are 10 to 20%. In the subsequent year, 20%. The third year, 20%. And the completion of the fourth year, we are at 80%. So it means this remaining 20% in the remainder of the 1 year will be achievable. So that is our target. In fact, some things which were impossible. Take, for example, Kidundu Stadium. It is in the CIDP, but it's one of the areas of achievement that we are not sure it is done. So it means that the coverage of the things that we have done, most of them may not have been pronounced on media or anywhere else, but the governor of Vihiga has an outstanding performance, and indeed, I can confirm that by the remainder of the year, once this year ends, there will be a very clear performance of the entire promises that he gave to the people. If there will be gaps, then they will be very negligible. Thank you.
I wanted you to talk about, is the 80% all departments uniform, or we have some that are ahead of the other, and why?
Yes, in general, performance is measured not only, even let me pick an example for classrooms. You are doing different subjects. So you will find some subjects you are scoring higher than others. But in the long run, there is a balance of scores. Out of 100, you can say, cumulatively, this is our score. So there are some areas or some sectors that have challenges relating to, as you are aware, also counties do not have as much resources. So we heavily rely on partners. And as you have seen, the Excellency Governor of Vihiga has done much more because he has also embraced the national government. Because that is where 85% of the entire resources remain. So all the counties are only getting a portion of 15% of the entire budget. So in that case, you must be very, you must become a bit more creative and reach out to partners. Like we have an MOU with West Media, and we are also very supportive. So your teams are forced to force themselves to make relationship with other players.
Attaining growth in on-source revenue. Of course, there is progress there, you surpassing targets, but there is slowness. Maybe you may want to talk about just what causes the slowness in the growth of the sector.
Yes. Yes, there's a bit of need for sensitization. You know, sensitization and awareness to the people was very key, because when people are not aware of what is the resources they are asked to give in terms of tax, they may not be willing. But gradually we have been sensitizing our people, and if you look into the periods in subsequent years, we have been making improvements from the year 2022. Our revenue was at 300. When we came to 2023, it was 340. Then the year 2024-25, we had 324-25. That's when we had 397. Now this time we have crossed 450. We are threatening 500, and I'm confident we are going to achieve that. So I think more information relating to revenue will be canvassed through my good director, CP Omsula. Thank you.
Before you hand over to your director, one of the key issues that has been raised over time is on pending bills. Now, do we have any legal provisions to ensure that this is sorted within this 5 years? And what promise can you give the people of Vihiga that their bills will be paid before this term ends?
Yes, if you look at the planning by Excellency Governor, you will see that the first charge is pending bills. In fact, at the moment, if you look at our budget provision, the pending bills, so far we are below 1 billion. We are at around 700 million. And we are still paying. Even this month, as I speak here, we are paying pending bills. And you'll discover that if you look in our budget for 26-27, the first highest allocation is on pending bills. And therefore, we can also confidently say that if all these monies required to the county governments is dispersed, we shall have below 100 million by the closure of this government. So that means we'll have, actually we are ahead of other counties, because that's the first charge, and for this financial year it's just pending bills, and just to a bit of completion of our projects that are ongoing. Yeah.
Thank you, Waziri Onzere Mulongo from the Department of Finance. And now to your Director Revenue, CPA George Omusula. One of the issues that has been raised, and one of the key achievements we have had Waziri Mulongo talk about, is on the revenue, the on-source revenue we collect. What can you tell us about that, and what are some of the strategies you put in place to ensure that Vihiga attains the set targets for our revenue collection?
Thank you very much. We are glad for the people of Vihiga. They have supported us, and we have seen growth in on-source revenue. Remember, last year we managed to surpass our target by 17%. The previous financial year, we had surpassed by 11%. In this year, as Waziri mentioned, we are on course to surpass we are targeting to surpass the 500 mark. In terms of on-source revenue, when you look at the CIDP and you look at the projections year on year, we are way ahead of what was projected. Even if you look at the targets on the ADPs, it's much higher than what was projected in the CIDP. So it means through the cooperation of the citizens and the strategies that we are putting in place, we've seen a lot of improvement in OSR. One of the key strategies that has made us achieve all this is the automation of revenue, where in September 2023, we decided that we are going to automate, and all revenues, we are not going to collect cash. We moved from manual, now we've automated. We have seen tremendous increase because of that. Away from just the increase, it has also caused a lot of convenience for the client. How is from wherever the business is, the farthest end of Vihiga County, you are able to pay for the revenue, and you are able to get an acknowledgement from M-Pesa and also Vihiga County, and you're able to download a receipt, and the permit is brought to you.
Maybe you dwell on that a bit. We have cash streams that will help the county collect revenue. Those cash streams, the bulk one is usually single business permit, but we have other cash streams that you guys work with. Hospital is another cash stream that is big in terms of adding to the county kitty. But then when you scrutinize cash flow coming to the county coffers, you realize that the projected is there, but you only attain something lower, which is lower than what Commission on Revenue Allocation has already projected. Why do you think you always attain lower than the projected revenue? And of the cash flow streams that are supposed to contribute to the county kitty, are they really exploited, or there are some slowness somewhere? And how can you address that?
Thank you very much. In terms of on-source revenue, we are heavily supported by the Commission of Revenue Allocation. And on-source revenue was there during the times of municipal council, so the county governments inherited revenue collection from them. And where we are, the Commission of Revenue Allocation around in 2024 carried us out a survey where it shared with the potential of each county, so the 47 counties. Yes, as counties, we are lagging behind. The main reason that is associated to that is the development that is taking place across the country. Remember that revenue collection is guided by laws, and as we speak now, even the Senate at that level is still developing some laws. For instance, in 2024, we saw the County Uniform Licensing Act. We've seen the Outdoor Advertising Act still going on. So yes, the potential is there, but now we are gradually growing. As we grow as counties is when we are tightening the laws, we are tightening the strategies. We are now putting in place things like revenue automation, and also putting in place the right laws, the primary laws, to enable us achieve that goal.
Right. Now, where do you get most of your money?
Thank you. Most of the money now is coming from the health facilities, followed by single business permits. We have advertisements. This is wall branding and vehicle branding. We have the buildings, developments across the county. And we also have CES. CES is for the use of our roads, our county roads.
I have a very bad question on CES because I don't want to go there, it's political, but let me just allude to it. It's political, whereby road users are also taxpayers in other areas. Doesn't that amount to double taxation?
Okay, for the road users, you see, we don't just in-charge any other road user. You know that we have the counties, the roads designated as national roads, These are maintained by mainly KENHA. Then we have counties. When you have your small car, which is a normal user car, we don't charge you for cess. We charge you for the extra load that you are putting already on our existing roads. So you'll not find us looking for small pickups. We only go for special. Like in Vihiga, we go for a TSES, which is an act that is in place, Vihiga TSES Act, which authorizes us to collect 1% from DTT.
Maybe one final question. Land rates, do you have anything from there?
Yes, we do collect land rates. We have a valuation role that is in place that guides us in collection of land rates. And as we grow, we have seen a lot of developments around land rates from the national government, where we had the National Rating Act. And as county government, we are supposed to follow queue and tailor-make our county rating act to fit the national one. So we are working around it.
Thank you, CPA George Omusula. And my next question goes to the Chief Officer, Public Service Management and ICT. This is one of the key departments which we get a lot of concerns, especially when it comes to recruitment and the process of getting into the county. Are there any legal provisions that have been put in place to streamline the recruitment of county officers? And within the county, what are some of the things that have been developed, the strategies put in place, the key milestones for the staff of the county government of Vihiga to ensure that their employment is well to go and that they're able to also benefit from some of the things that we see in other counties and in other countries as well?
Thank you, Shamim, and thanks for giving us this chance to share some feedback with the populace of Vihiga County. On the aspect of recruitment, promotions, is all over redesignations. As a department, we have worked very closely with the County Public Service Board, and we have already enacted an act, County Public Service Act 2025, which is already in force. And what this act does is it gives guidance in terms of for recruitments, how should they be done, appointments, capacity building of staff, redeployments, promotions, performance management, which is very key in public service, rewards and sanctions, and the disciplinary procedures, because those are the gray areas that we have tried to look at and put up that act, which is now guiding public service along those areas, and it is already operational. Yes.
We often see that nationally, and even in some places, we see that it is often complained that staff who work within the public service tend to provide service at a slower rate compared to other regions. Now, is this the case in Vihiga as well? Do people come and line up wanangoja mtu for 3 hours ameenda lunch break, or what is the situation in Vihiga?
I would say that may not be unique to one county, Shamim, because provision of customer service is a perception. Yeah, even in the private sector, in the public sector, is a perception, and we always say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Yeah, that client, and that's why we have come up with performance contracting. This is actually the 3rd year, where we have looked at where does the governor wish to take this county, the CIDP, from which we develop the annual development plans and the sector reports. And we have broken that to individual goals that are aligned to the departments and to the county goals, so that the ultimate objective is to provide that service as envisioned in the CIDP and the ADP. So it has been a journey, but I can say over time we have seen a big improvement, especially with the advent of the performance contracting, which we have signed, governor signed with the CCMs. CCMs have signed with directors. Directors have signed, I mean with chief officers, and chief officers have signed with directors. And we have rolled further to the rest of the staff through the staff performance appraisal system. So you see, breaking the vision down up to the lowest level has seen a lot of improvements. And every quarter, we do reviews. Half year, we do full performance review, and end of the year, we do full financial year appraisal for all the staff. And this is now what we are inputting into the Public Service Act, which also talks about recognition, performance, so that reward drives performance. And at the end of it, then we have a very clear focus on service delivery, and you can be able to get positive feedback that we are impacting positively in terms of service delivery, because that is the ultimate aim of public service.
Kindly talk about ghost workers. How many do you have?
That's a good one. Yeah, ghost workers are ghost workers, which I don't think we have. But what I would also wish to point out is we have a human resource information management system. We have automated our staff data, our payroll, and we are able to populate payrolls per department. We have actually departmentalized, and each chief officer can be able to view, these are my staff, and this is the payroll. And that process would it be easy for ghost workers or people who are not working, because the chief officers have the ownership. Below the chief officers, those returns come from the supervisors. So that system is what has helped us to really have control of the staff and the payroll and the wage bill in particular.
Okay. You talked about gray areas. You see, everyone is in the gray area. And one fact that has stayed in the gray area is you public officers never really convinced us. Someone who is employed and pensionable, why put him on contract performance? Because he will still go home and earn his pension.
Yeah, thank you. Performance management drives actually performance, all right? And the ultimate objective is to provide an impactful full service delivery. What is not measured, what do we say? What is, you have to have some measure to achieve, right? And His Excellency the Governor has given a promise to the people of Vihiga through the CIDP, which we break into annual development plan per department annually, which is further broken down to staff. Basically, if you are in employment in public service and you are on that system, then there's that performance culture. Because as a leader, you can't deliver alone. You have to deliver through people. So basically, that's why performance management comes in. As long as you're still in service, you have to earn for work done. On retire, you can enjoy your pension, but you will have provided service to the people during your time of employment. So that aspect of performance management comes in very handy while you are still in service, and for us to meet the objective that we purpose to meet to the public.
Maybe one last question from you is, we are going makeup 4 years. 4 years. Yes. At what stage are we in accountability? Guys,
that you may not really be able to point at
they used ICT was in healthcare, and they have a very elaborate system and process of integrating ICT in their healthcare processes that has been very beneficial for them, not only for the populace in terms of getting health services, but also for the county government in terms of revenue collection. And Murang'a has been a gold standard when it comes to ICT. So we went there for a benchmarking process, and we came back, and one of the things that we have done in health is we are trying to adopt the systems that they use in their health systems. And to that effect, we've also had visitors from the DHA, from the Ministry of Health, who've come, and we are now working with them, together with them, to see how we can implement better health systems to serve the people of Vihiga, not only in our referral hospital, but it will trickle down to all our facilities. So we are working together with the Department of Health. We've had meetings with them yesterday and today, and we intend to action more when it comes to integrating ICT in health. Yes.
Mostly, whenever you deploy an ICT or a management system, there's always fear that people are going to lose jobs. What's your experience?
Well, it comes with anything, that as you deploy systems, people tend to be declared redundant. But the upside of it is not everyone is declared redundant. If you're not well versed with these systems, if you do not know how to use them, if you do not know how to take advantage of them, then you would be disadvantaged. You might be declared redundant. But when it comes to service delivery, when it comes to serving the people of Vihiga, we are not going to think twice about integrating ICT deep into the health systems, because at the end of the day, it's going to be for the benefit of the population. So yes, a few people might be declared redundant, but we encourage our staff to embrace ICT, embrace technology. Our chief officer just answered a question that most of our staff are also going for trainings. So once people are trained, these systems are not going to use themselves. We'll still need people to use the system. So the redundancy issue is there, but it's still negligible.
Whenever we talk about your department also, there is always an element of training. This is 2026. Largely the population, especially in employment bracket, interacted with the technology in some area or another. And some even employers say that you must be literate in some of these things. But training is also key. But training county staff, especially those in the critical service delivery areas, can be a very costly element. How different is it?
Well, at the end of the day, staff have to be trained. It's a very costly element, yes, but for efficiency to be achieved, staff have to be trained. And we are very grateful that for Vihiga, staff get continually trained, and training does not only imply the high costly elements of it. Even going for benchmarking like we went for to Murang'a, that is also part of training. And the training might not be that much. The cost implication might not be that much, but the element of learning is still there. So yes, training is costly, but it's important. And we get trained, staff get trained, and for us to use technology, we cannot use untrained staff. So training is a small price to pay. The cost of training is a small price to pay, keeping in mind what we intend to achieve.
Just talk about, do you have hubs where communities can interact with the internet, like any market or town within Vihiga, that if you went to Mbali town, you get free Wi-Fi, or a market or a school, whatever. Do you have those, and at what level?
What I can speak about to that is right here in Mbale, we have spots where there's free Wi-Fi. We have spots where there's free Wi-Fi in Mbale, just outside our gate right here. Pass by in the evening, there's going to be a lot of young people. Pass by over the weekend, there's going to be a lot of creators on these roads because they're taking advantage of the free Wi-Fi that has been deployed to them. Probably I might also need to say that in this instance, free Wi-Fi comes from the ICT authority and not necessarily a function of the county government. But also when it comes to that, we are planning something to that effect. As we are digitizing our health services, we are including the use of Starlink. And you might get to some place where you get a health facility that has Starlink within a radius of around 7 kilometers. There's going to be Wi-Fi. So we intend to use that to support the public, to support young people, to support creatives, or to support the creative economy in terms of getting them free Wi-Fi.
Maybe one last thing. We have some areas where network fluctuation is very high. And downtime is usually big even on normal mobile networks. What's your plan to address that?
We might not be able to address that issue individually because that is also a telco issue. So that we might have to work with partners like Safaricom when they come to us and they might request us to give them support in one way or another. We'll be willing to give them that support because at the end of the day, as long as the people of Vihiga benefit, we are doing our job.
As a director, one of the key issues within public service, especially ICT related, is on data privacy. And we have staff within the county government of Vihiga interact a lot with sensitive data. And in the healthcare system, which you've talked about, we have some sensitive data for patients now. How does your directorate ensure that, we keep to this data privacy laws and we ensure that the data that is being handled by the different officers does not, go beyond where it needs to go, and what needs to be confidential remains confidential? And one of the other items that's coming up is on a grievance redress mechanism, and we see that needs a lot of privacy. So what are some of the strategies and initiatives that you have in place to ensure that this is not just talked about, but is also done so that the people feel that we are working towards their safety as well?
Thank you for that. Addressing your first issue, when it comes to data privacy, we are heavily regulated by ODPC, the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. And to that effect, we also have a data protection policy that has been developed by the directorate, and that the policy guides us on how we handle data from every kind, because we handle copious amounts of data, from the farmers that we deal with in agriculture, to the students that we deal with in education, to the patients that we deal with in the health facilities. There are processes and there are mechanisms to keep the data private. And when it comes to grievance redress, for grievance redress, we are working to digitize that, the mechanisms of grievance redress. We are working to digitize that, and in that digitization, we are also going to be guided still by the same policy on data protection. So the data of the people of Vihiga is very, very safe. I can assure you that at no point have we had issues of data leakage, especially sensitive data like passwords or phone numbers. We do not leak that information. That information is kept secure, and we are guided by the ODPC. We are subjects of them. We are registered as data controllers and data handlers.
Thank you, Director ICT Victor Benefits Nyawanga. And I'll move to the Chief Officer, Department of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, who is also the GIS champion for Vihiga County. And we've talked a lot on the ICT side of things. And one of the key projects in Vihiga County is GTS and GIS. And you will tell us what's the difference between GTS and GIS, because we tend to confuse that a lot. Why is this a key project for the county government of Vihiga, since up to date we've seen over 40 counties coming to Vihiga to benchmark on this?
Thank you so much, Shamim. First of all, the difference between GTS and GIS is that in the GTS is the geotechnological services, which include remotely sensed data and also the geospatial information systems, while the GIS is simply the geospatial information systems, and some of us call it also a geospatial information science. It deals with space, talks about georeferencing, talks about a coordinate system, so that when you collect data for a particular value chain or entity, it should be placed in the exact place that you actually see it. And to do that, then we bring it from the XY and position it somewhere. And that's the reason why we do that. Now, we're talking about the importance of the spatial technologies in the county of Vihiga. And we are saying that there is a lot of decision making that is ongoing. For example, where should we place the next project? Where should we place the next hospital facility? Where should we encourage afforestation? Where should we be disaster prepared? For us to do this, we must collect data. And data is going to inform us, because then we have to transform that data into wisdom. When we get to the wisdom, then we are helping the decision maker to make that decision that we have to prepare these people in this area, maybe to move away from where they are located, like, for example, the hilly areas that are prone to landslides. Then we also have to prepare ourselves on matters climate change, and by encouraging members to be able to practice afforestation or reforestation. And this can only be informed through the geotechnical services. Vihiga is a champion of GIS or geotechnological services in this country, and we have had the 40 counties coming to benchmark with us, including also the academia that we have not been able to number. And this is because the governor himself, His Excellency Dr. Otichiro, is a champion of GIS, and he champions these matters across the globe. And therefore, because of that, we find a lot of motivation in making us be able to really mind data which we need to collect for every project we endeavor in. Thank you.
Dr. Betty, what have been some of the key milestones for this particular directorate for GTS in Vihiga, and how have people directly benefited from this being a champion in the country?
One of the key milestones is we have developed the GIS policy, we have developed the GIS manual and its user. So to do this, we have been able to enable people to be able to collect data to the right data standards. Because when you collect it without applying the standards, then definitely you lose it. You will position Vihiga within Lake Victoria or within the Indian Ocean. So we have developed a data collection manual that should be able to guide the data collection processes. Through the data collection manual, we've also been able to outline methods of analysis. How do you analyze linear data, data that is of polygon in nature, and point data, and also the attribute data. We've also been able to encourage members to be able to mine data from secondary sources, because you cannot continue collecting primary data. Then you can also be able to utilize secondary sources. Another milestone we have achieved is that we have been able to train champions in all the 11 departments we have in the county. So in each department we have a GIS champion who is the focal person in data collection. In every project they implement, they collect such data using the Kobo toolbox, and we are able to receive the data immediately in the GIS laboratory. We've also been able to train the CHP, that is the community health providers, in collecting data using again the Kobo toolbox, and that is why we are able to champion matters of the Otichiro healthcare, which has really reduced the maternal mortality to close to zero in this land. We've also been able to encourage equitable distribution of the projects across the county. In this case, we have trained the ward administrators to be able to collect data on the projects that are implemented in their wards, to ensure that we do not lump so many projects within a given ward at the expense of other wards. Also, we've been able to model areas that are prone to disasters, and this has really helped us to alleviate deaths that have been occurring in the past in terms of flooding, in terms of landslides. I should also say that we have also been able to help decision makers on upgrading of our road infrastructure. So we have been able to recommend areas where we can be able to upgrade our maram roads to bitumen, because now they are able to serve different counties in matters of commercialization.
I have only one question to you. Who is the primary recipient of GIS? For example, we're talking about GIS. Someone will be wondering what type of animal is that? And in a layman's language, who is the primary consumer of the information we give? Is it the Vihiga people or international community or national community?
The consumer of geospatial technological knowledge is the decision maker. Right from that farmer who is given information on suitable areas to grow specific crops. So that is the person who is consuming this information in terms of implementation, because when now that farmer invests in a specific crop that we have recommended, you find that he is going to put money back into his pocket. So that decision maker is the final user of these particular geo-information services. It may be a farmer, it may be a decision maker in this county, it may be in the international communities, those who have worked together with us as partners.
Thank you, Dr. Betty, and I will allow you time to breathe before we come back to you on agriculture. We'll move to the left of our panel discussion here today, and I will start with the Director of Physical Planning and Urban Development, Peter Orimba. Now, one of the key issues we have seen within this particular county is that Vihiga County has only one municipality, and we've had rumors that we may be having more municipalities. What can you tell us about this, and what are the timelines you are working with for the upcoming municipalities?
Thank you so much, host. I believe the issue of municipalities is no longer a rumor.
As we talk on municipalities, we've only had one for a bit of time, and we'll now have three. How prepared is Vihiga County to now have three municipalities, and what has been the experience in upgrading the two towns, Luanda and Kaimosi, into now municipality status?
Thank you for that. Well, it's true we've had one municipality, that's the Vihiga municipality. Municipalities come as a request by towns. Just to give you a bit of background, we developed what we call local physical development plans. This is for Luanda and Kaimosi. It is through those plans that these potentials come out. When you want to assess the facilities, how they are run, and probably what they have, the resources they have, the infrastructure, some of the social amenities that are available within those towns. So it is upon those development plans that
with me. Why don't governments make a CEC in charge of municipalities? Because we are working under a ministry, at a department here.
Comes around issues of municipalities and the county government. But what we need to understand clearly that municipalities are semi-autonomous. I think now for the case of the one municipality we have, that's the Vihiga municipalities. The good news is the county or the governor or the county government has not been reluctant to release, because His Excellency the Governor has even gazetted the roles that have been devolved to the municipalities. That has happened for Vihiga municipalities. So I think probably in other quarters that will be a debate whether the counties are willing to release or to let the municipalities be independent. But they are semi-autonomous. That is because they, to some extent, they still rely on the county government for support. So that is true. Then now the issue of what the implications of having municipalities. Yes, rates will go high. These services will be paid for. And these services are paid for so that the municipalities are able to run. Yeah, so that is the implication. The people are ready. We've involved the relevant stakeholders in this process, and we believe they are ready to have these municipalities. In such kind of debates, we weigh the benefits and the what will determine probably as the losses that comes with it, and the benefits are way much than what will be seen as losses, like when people are now required to pay for these rates. And it is true that it is through these rates or those revenues that will be collected from these municipalities that will again be used to run, also to provide for these services. Yeah, and even for Vihiga municipality, there's the finance. There's a bill for financing of these urban centers that is also at advanced stage, that will also give them that will clearly indicate what they collect and how this revenue is shared for the running of the municipalities. Yeah.
My last question to you is with the biggest elephant within the municipalities, garbage collection. I've seen some counties where only one garbage collector is collecting in the entire county. Are these new municipalities going to have localized waste management systems, or it's one managing the whole? And what will be the advantages of localizing and using one for the county-wide waste management systems?
Well, it is the responsibility of the municipalities, now, assuming that now we'll be having well-established municipalities. Of course, they start at low level as they grow and become very firm on their roles or what they need to do. Giving it to one central manager, I think that would be difficult. Each and every municipality should be having that opportunity to be able to handle the issues of solid waste. In the assessment, those ones came out, whether they are ready and that they had the potential to handle such kind of responsibilities. But key again will be the partnership, giving other, also the private sector opportunity to come in to help or to partner with the county government in handling of the solid waste. Yeah.
We will move to the Chief of Staff, Mr. Leonard Soita. And before we go back to the rest of the county operations, one of the key issues within a county government operations is the political sector of it. We have a few elected positions within the system of a county government, and the executive often works closely with the county assembly. Now, Bwana Soita, what has been the experience of Vihiga County in terms of the political support of some of the key projects that have been implemented within this midterm review report?
Thank you so much, and I want to take this opportunity, first of all, to welcome our guests who will be joining us tomorrow for the midterm review on behalf of His Excellency the Governor of Vihiga, Dr. Wilbur K. Otichilo, EGH. And as you put it, every government has got its leader, and our leader number one in this government is His Excellency the Governor. And we have the executive wing, of course, and we have the legislative wing that is headed by the Speaker of the County Assembly. And I want to attest to this, that we have had an amicable working environment between the executive and the County Assembly, because when you look at the legislation that are supporting the executive to carry out its mandate, we are on record as the county government and the County Assembly that have enacted so many laws. These 4 years we have been in office. I'm sure if it's researched, that would be, and you see, that is what makes it easier for us to be able to function as a government. And that one I want to laud the County Assembly and the executive. They've had a very amicable working relationship with the Excellency, and they have been very supportive. Yeah.
Maybe you talk about, when you follow politics, you find the money. And the governor is doing the last bit of his second term. So whatever we are doing in English, it's called legacy. He's trying to retire honorably, go away honorably, and leave a good name behind.
Sure.
And that is something everyone will look up to. It's very exciting. Maybe you just address one thing that has always accompanied political decisions. It's called public participation. You see, that how has been Vihiga's experience? Public participation is an issue that most administrations have not been scoring very well. How have you interacted with the Vihiga community in preparation to implementing the agenda of the county government?
I think most of the decisions that have been made, both at the executive, have had to go just to cite the budget making process. It has had to go through public participation, both at the executive, and when it goes to the assembly, again, it is subjected to another public participation. So holistically, I believe we have been going through all these processes successfully, because these businesses would not have progressed to the next level without that. Because without public participation, then citizens will always petition and want to find out why the public participation element has not been implemented. But you see, how is the public participation? That would be the biggest question that we need to ask ourselves. Are we getting to the grassroots as we work on devolution? What is the last unit of devolution that we are targeting so that they also participate in this? And I'm sure this was done. You see, before even the CIDP was adopted, there must be public participation. And most of the projects that we are implementing is what is in the wish list in the CIDP that we are being capturing. And as you put it, actually His Excellency is more focused on delivering his manifesto that he promised the people of Vihiga. He is focused on completing some of his legacy projects so that when he leaves office, at least they are complete, they are done and dusted. Yeah.
And another key issue that's usually in the public arena is on matters regarding gender, youth, and to Waziri Dr. Ruth Agesa. One of the things we have seen experienced in Vihiga County, especially in the last couple of months, is on we've had a lot of SGBV cases, and particularly to children below, who are not yet adults. We've seen these cases as well. What is Vihiga County doing about this, and what has the county done to ensure that while we have these cases reported, that they are reduced and to a point where we no longer see them happening in our county?
Thank you, Shamim. I would like to say it's true, Vihiga actually is on the rise with those cases. Even basing on the report which came up with the task force that the president put in place last year, Western region is the one that is leading. And when you look at the Western region, you find Vihiga is actually number one. And as we've done our research, we found actually 2 of our sub-counties are actually on the rise, the Luanda and Hamisi. So up to last week, I must say that there has been a lot of outcry because of that, and many cases we've been getting to know about them. First of all, we would like to thank His Excellency so much because he operationalized a GBV center where we are actually putting our survivors. We have received several survivors, but the whole problem that is there, His Excellency has actually mandated us to go ahead and make sure that we come up with a concept to how we are going to fight this menace, because it is actually on the rise. And apart from that, just apart from defilement, there is the big issue of incest, which is we having even in our GBV center of a girl, a very young girl of about 12 years who gave birth with a grandfather, and on Monday we had a very collective meeting with all the stakeholders under the instructions of His Excellency, and I can assure the public that we are moving in the right direction because we brought now everybody on board. The judiciary, the police, ODPP, all the civil society. We had a meeting, plus even the county commissioner, and we actually geared towards seeing how we should move to every sub-county to sensitize people on these issues and how we can actually do the correction. Because even if we have the GBV center, we may just be receiving cases, but we may not have the medicine. So we actually need to go out and do the advocacy. It's actually a disaster as per now. And apart from even just the defilement, you find that even there's a lot of sodomy on the rampant. And we've come up with now measures on what we're going to do. Yeah.
And what has the county done for the people of the persons with disabilities within Vihiga County as we report on the midterm review achievements?
On the people with the disability, living with disability, the county has been very much on the matter. Like we've tried our best to make sure that we get accessible devices for the people living with this disability. And I think if you saw during the International Day for PWDs last year on 3rd of December, His Excellency had to issue 100 gadgets to the people living with disability, even the other year. So and this time we are actually in the process of organizing the mapping so that we can reach out even to the wards to see the people who are having disability and they're actually not coming up. And as you know, traditionally, people never used to want to come up in the open and say, I have a disabled child. So they were being left to suffer like that. But right now, this county has taken it very passionately, and we've actually moved with speed. So we've given those accessible gadgets to many of those living with it, and as we go on with the mapping, we shall be able to assist many of them to be able to move here and there. Even last year we saw that there are those who, apart from wanting wheelchairs, there are those who came in the open and say because they want to be business people, we were to give them tricycles instead. So, and even the white canes and the like. And also, His Excellency has been, Governor Otichilo has been very passionate about the PWDs, because you find even a school like Giveaway, he had to go a long way in making sure that they acquire more land for even for these children who are in that school to be able to play. And even when we find even in the Department of Education, when they are being given scholarships, the disability, people living with disability are also very much considered. So we are actually doing a lot of inclusivity when it comes to people living with disability. And even the Department of Gender, His Excellency has employed 2 officers living with a disability to actually handle matters pertaining to those cases that people are having with disability. Yes.
And to your counterpart, Chief Officer
Yes.
Kane, youth, sports and culture also falls within this department. What are some of the initiatives that have been put in place to support the youth, and particularly along the lines of sports, because we see a lot of sports teams from Vihiga County, and what has been the experience of Vihiga in showcasing its culture as well to the entire country and internationally as well?
Thank you so much, Shamim. In terms of youth, sports and culture, I want to report we are doing very well. His Excellency put in place the Sports Management Act, which we have operationalized, and I believe his government is the only one that has such, and we have a sports fund. So it's only the national government that has a sports fund and the Vihiga County government. And through the sports fund, we've been able to support our teams and promote talent. As you are aware, Vihiga is a home of talent. The top teams in this country, the East Africa Sekafa champions, Vihiga Queens, is a team from this county, which has been supported over years, but is excellent through the sports fund. We have Vihiga United, we have Luanda Villa, we have Soccer Assassins. There's no county that has such number of teams playing at a higher tier than this county. And this is because we have an act which we have operationalized, and we are funding our teams. We've been able to train sports persons and awarded them CAF-D licenses. Last year, we were able to sports persons and even schools, those handling our school in sports on matters anti-doping. And we have put structures, and we have been able to rehabilitate our sports facilities. And one of the major, which is a flagship project by His Excellence, is the development of the Kidundu Stadium, and is on course. And we are going to have a stadium in this county for the first time, thanks to His Excellence. In matters youth, again, His Excellence put in place an act which gave birth to Youth Service Act 2022, and we have operationalized. We have a youth board. Initially, we did not have a structured leadership of young people, but as we speak today, through the operationalization of the Vihiga Youth Service Act, we have a youth board chaired by managed by a chair, and they are able to run youth activities and youth empowerment. We've been able to train our young people in digital skills, and youth, gender those are cross-cutting issues. So we've been able to do well in terms of empowering our young people. And then when it comes to culture, our county is equally blessed, among the top when it comes to culture. The best musician, the best adjudicators, this is their home. One of the key guys who did development of the East Africa anthem, Bwana Richard, he's coming from this home. The best musician, the best adjudicators are coming from this home. So as a department and as a government, with the leadership of His Excellency the Governor, we've been able to sponsor our team participate in Kenya cultural and music festivals, and we've always scoped the best position. Last year we were in Eldoret, and we were number 2 overall in the whole country, and we have a number of over 15 trophies here, and this has been happening year in, year out. So it's all because of the structures. His Excellence, number one thing is to put the structures through the policies, through the act, and that is what has helped us achieve what we have achieved so far. Thank you.
I'd like to do 2 questions to you and 1 question to Madam. Let me begin with you. In terms of culture and heritage, Vihiga is a place where everyone wants to be in terms of music. The first ever proprietor of a recording studio in Kenya, owned by an African in the 50s, came from Vihiga. A producer and director of music production in Kenya that spanned about 3 decades, actually 4 decades, came from Vihiga. That's music. Then we walk around these streets here. There is no single name in honor of such a people. We have one of the first proprietors or producers or singers of music, white-haired guy, Kabaka. We don't have a slight street in his honor. Going to the colonial government, we had personalities from Vihiga. We've never honored them. At what stage do we start making such a conversations to honor our icons in terms of heritage? Number two, let me ask, then you will respond. Yes. In terms of sports, there is a lot of erosion there. A lot of money just passing through our hands without retaining the money to the county. When there is an activity, like, let's say music festival or soccer festival or sports, any kind of sports, we don't make money out of it. In fact, it becomes an expense. When can we turn that so that whatever activity comes in, we work with the corporates, either locally based corporates or Nairobi corporates, to come and headline activities within Vihiga to leave the money within Vihiga? The third question to Madam is about autism. Children born with autism. Do you have any plan to address their plight, and whether you have ever had the conversation around those or not? Thank you.
Thank you so much for those two good questions. The first one is on recognition of our talented persons in music and culture. I want to report that as a government, and by instruction of His Excellency, he tasked us to come up with a policy. Currently, we have a zero draft on culture and heritage policy, which we've been given timelines to make sure it is enacted. Through the culture and heritage policy, all you've said in terms of recognition of people who have contributed in music and culture in this county and country will be recognized. So we're putting the policy in place. Through the policy, we will get the funding and will be able to recognize men and women who have contributed this. Including on this panel, we have those two, a gentleman and a lady, top in this country in matters music. That is Waziri Mlongo and my Waziri Ruth Agesa. Back to the issue of monetizing sports. I've said, not that we've not done something about it. The first event that was introduced on youth sports for young people, called Talanta Hela, the inaugural, we remember we participated in, and we finished the best, the third best in the country, and money was given, and our young people benefited. For your information, we were able to take 11 of our young people to Spain and 11 to the national team. Currently, I've seen a number with the Ulinzi, and I've seen a number that have signed contracts in Spain. One of actually the best paid women player in football come from here, Mbi, through Vihiga Queens. The first contract to be signed in South Korea. Highest paid women playing football from this county. So we've been able, and you can see their mothers, their sisters have been able. She has empowered them. They are doing business here. So we are doing something. Though we still have gaps. With the development of the stadium, then we are going to get more money from sports. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I answer the question on autism, I would like just to build on what my CEO has talked about, the recognizing the artists. I think this is something that everyone is thinking about in Vihiga County. And there is a group in Vihiga County known as Vihiga Drama Welfare Association, where I'm the patron. And His Excellency has really empowered many of the youths there. And at some point, many of the musicians and the artists were actually really honored. Daudi Kabaka, John Zenze, the Francis Mbuga, because of the art, the posthumously, the Alembi, Dr. Alembi, and that one proves actually Vihiga has a lot of talent. And what Chief has said on the issue of coming up with the policy on culture and heritage, it's going to make us now do more on honoring those people. And when it comes to the issue of autism, I would like to say that in Vihiga County, as we're talking, we're coming up with a gender mainstreaming policy. And with this policy, it's going to give us a lot of guidance on what we should do with this. It's cutting across, and it's actually going to empower us and give us guidelines on how we can deal with the autism, because we've been dwelling more on the common cases of PWD and leaving out the autism. But the policy is actually about to be complete. It's about to go to the cabinet. Once it's through, it's going to give us more guidance on how we can handle the autism. Thank you.
And as we conclude this conversation, ladies and gentlemen, we'll finish with Dr. Betty, who's also the Chief Officer from the Department of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. What are some of the key achievements in your department, and what are the challenges that you have seen in the last 3 years, last 4 years, as we conclude this conversation?
Thank you very much. Once again, for Agriculture Department, we're talking about 4 directorates, that is the crops, livestock, fisheries, and veterinary services. So on the part of crops, we've been able to provide soil gadgets, that is the soil augers, so that we can be able to establish the status of our soil health. If we do that, we increase productivity and therefore production per a unit area, and that will bring money into the pockets of Wananchi. We've also been able to establish aggregation centers where we are training farmers who have grouped themselves in common interest groups and circles into value addition, because we are moving out of production for consumption only and into commercialization. So in that commercialization aspect, we are promoting agribusiness, and farmers now have been able to come up with diverse products through value addition and co-creation. On livestock, we are talking about increasing productivity, so we have been able to increase the breed stock through availing semen to the farmers. Sex semen has been subsidized through the e-voucher vaccination, and farmers are able to access these. We are also providing fingerlings to our farmers, high-quality fingerlings from our Mwitoko training area that is on fisheries to the farmers, so that they can be able to rear fish and use it as an alternate source of protein and a source of income. On also livestock, we've been able to provide high quality poultry, 1-month-old chicks to the farmer, so that they can be able to improve their breed stock and rear quality chicks. We've also been able to provide hatcheries to the farmers and brooders, so that they can be able to rear their own poultry, be able to get their own chicks, and be able to provide to their members of circles. In the recent past, we've been able to equip 5 new circles in the 5 new wards that were not supported by NARIC, and they have been able to get the matching grants, so $1 million each, and they have been able procure ICT facilities so that they can be able to operationalize their SACCOs institutions. On veterinary services, we launched the e-voucher vaccination that I've just mentioned, and in the recent past we have been able to vaccinate 66,000 animals against foot and mouth disease. And this has really been able to improve the health of our stock so that farmers can be able to keep healthy animals, avoid deaths, and be able to avoid consuming meat that is infected by diseases. In the recent past, we've also been able to promote supplemental irrigation so that we can insist on providing the African leafy vegetables throughout the year. And at the Labi scheme, we have been able to provide that and commission it, and farmers are actually doing that irrigation. We also coming up with 2 projects under irrigation to increase the area under irrigation, that is in Banja and Hamuyundi. So we want to ensure that we are food secure. We want to ensure that we have money in the pocket of the farmer. We want to ensure that this farmer is able to supply this crop produce not only within the county but also out of the county. Thank you.
I have 3 questions which I would like you to respond to briefly, as in brief. The first one, we had a project where farmers were given dairy animals. At what stage are we? How many are they so far that are existing, and what next we expect from that front? We also had a project on indigenous vegetables. What is the capacity so far, and what's the progress? Lastly, you just talked about irrigation. How much acreage are under irrigation as we speak?
Thank you very much. We start with the animals that were given to the farmers. I want to report that we've been able to collect the GIS coordinates of the location of those animals. Now, most of those animals were given to the common interest groups, who are members of about 15 to 20. And those members, you'll find that over 50% have now been able to benefit from that particular animal, because once a heifer is born or a calf is born, it is given to the next beneficiary. I was very impressed that in some cases, we have had those groups also being able to raise their shares. And when they contribute their shares, they're able to buy another animal and give to a next beneficiary. So most of the groups, we have 100% benefit, and others are at 75, others 50%. So they're actually utilizing those animals, and we know their location. And number 2, and that has really improved the milk production by over 30%. We also have the African leafy vegetables, which you are referring to as the indigenous vegetables. And in this case, we had very little at the beginning, but because of the drought issues. But now with the supplemental irrigation, we are producing more than 10,000 tons of vegetables, and we are able to add value, we are able to package, and these vegetables are going out of this country because they have been packaged. We also have, you asked about, the acreage of under irrigation is now over 1,000 acres under irrigation. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Betty. And ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our show today. Today we were joined by our colleagues from the county government of Vihiga, chief officers, county executive committee members, directors, and our chief of staff. And we've been speaking on the midterm review, which is being launched tomorrow at Sosa Cottages. I've been your host, Shamim Hussein, and today we're privileged to also be joined by our colleagues from West TV, and I will let Mr. Caleb Kitui conclude today's program.
Thank you so much. Let's do this a lot more, Shamim, because it's nice. I want to encourage you, our viewers, that West TV is available for your patronization. We also have West FM. We also have Mumbo FM.
Whenever you are on our platforms, we have social media handles, West TV _Kenya, West TV. This show is all our shows and news are always on our YouTube. Whenever you are on our social media, please share, like, subscribe. You can also tag me along. I would like to have fans from Vihiga. My social handle is @Mr. Kitui. Talk to me. We will be able to interact with you a lot more. I hope we are going to do this another time. And thank you so much, Vihiga County Government and Shamim in particular, the director, Frank. Thank you for choosing that we'll be able to do this. On behalf of the entire team that came from West Media, led by Hiran Mugaisi, the team in Bungoma, led by Kevin Kibet, I've been your host in collaboration with Shamim, Caleb Kitui. See you another time.